China's top counter-terror official, the State Commissioner on Counter-Terrorism and Security, Cheng Guping, is in Pakistan today and tomorrow, and this just proves how close both Pakistan and China are. We have inside details of China's deal with Pakistan. The new ISI chief, Lieutenant General Naveed Mukhtar, he made a quiet trip to China last month to seek support of China and to promise all support on cracking down on the Uighur terrorists. Now this gets them the $46 billion funds for the China-PAK economic corridor for China's continued support to Pakistan at the United Nations Security Council. Joining me now on the broadcast is India Today's Anant Krishnan. He joins us live from Beijing in a while from now. I'll be joined by Rajeev Chandrasekhar, Member of Parliament. But Anant, coming to you first, why is China standing with terror? There is ample evidence of Masood Azhar's involvement in terror activities in India, and from his release post IC 814 hijack in 99 to Pathankot in 2016, there is so much evidence. Is the Uighur movement the problem? Is the China-PAK economic corridor the reason?
Well, Gaurav, I think you very neatly summed up the kind of deal that China and Pakistan seem to have struck. But it's very clearly China is just looking at its very short-term interest and protecting its interests in Pakistan. And for whatever reason, Beijing seems to believe that it's the Pakistani deep state is its best insurance in terms of cracking down on some Uighur separatists who are in Pakistan. But as you know, it's a very, very risky gamble. And a number of people, including India, have impressed upon China that, frankly, you can't distinguish between terrorists. If you are happy to look the other way when anti-India terrorists are involved, the nature of terror networks are such that everybody is linked and interconnected. So it's a very risky game that China is playing.
Yes.
And there seem to be no signs as yet that they are going to change course.
Oh, absolutely. Smita, now what is India's next move? Smita Sharma joins me from our newsroom. Smita, what is India's next move going to be? We've seen how the Trump administration is expected to take a hard line on Pakistan. What we also know is that a number of US think tanks have advocated a hard line, including removing the non-NATO ally status if Pakistan continues to support terror.
Look, India continues to watch the Trump administration with a sense of cautious optimism, because Donald Trump in his inaugural ceremony speech, when he spoke about eradicating radical Islamic terrorism from the face of the earth, one wasn't sure whether he was referring only to ISIS or the terror that is emanating, especially in this AFPAK region. But perhaps one of the biggest litmus tests for Donald Trump and his administration will be if there were to be some fresh terror strike in United States, which were to be traced back into Pakistan. That's when South Bloc would get a clearer vision of what Donald Trump intends to do with these terror outfits. As far as this fresh resolution is concerned, well, India will have to essentially wait and watch, because for 6 months you can't do anything till the time China comes back on the resolution and either uses its veto to block it, or to allow the other countries to go ahead. But we do learn from sources that perhaps Masood Azhar's brother might be targeted in some fresh resolution that India plans to move in the days to come to try and corner the Jaish-e-Mohammed mastermind.
Shweta, keep tracking that story for the moment. Many thanks. Also joining me on the broadcast is Rajeev Chandrasekhar, Independent Member of Parliament, who's moved a resolution in Rajya Sabha to declare Pakistan a terrorist state. Rajeev Chandrasekhar, China may be Pakistan's all-weather friend, but how do you see China being so myopic, virtually supporting Pakistan-sponsored terror? What should India do?
Look, I think China is playing a dangerous double game. It's an unsustainable and indefensible position that China is embarking on. Masood Azhar is a global terrorist. He represents a threat not just to India, he represents a threat to the US, Western Europe, and every other country that has suffered from terrorism. China has aspirations to be a global power, but they must recognize that along with being a global power also comes the responsibility of being a global power and cracking down on terrorism and looking at all the issues that impact innocent lives all around the world. So China is currently in a situation which is not very different from its situation a few months ago. But China is, this position of China is indefensible and unjustifiable, and I think it will take some effort on our parts, the world's parts, to get them to modify that position.
Okay, now India is engaging China, especially on the issue of Masood Azhar. What should India do? What should India's next step be so that China sees the ground reality and the angst in India about China supporting a terror state, Pakistan?
No, I think the world and indeed most of the nations that are victims of terror must come together and engage China. There is no way around it. I think just being upset with China doesn't serve a purpose. If our combined objective is to make the world a safer place against the threat of terror, we have to engage China and persuade them and convince them that it is in their interest as well to create a global coalition against terror and terrorists like Masood Azhar.
Okay, Rajeev Chandrasekhar, Anand Krishna and Smita, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. I now want to shift focus to what happened in the parliament today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi came out all guns blazing. He systematically demolished the criticism